And with that, I'm going to ask Alanna Jonson with the Ministry of Agriculture. She's an agricultural program specialist with them, and she wants to talk to you in the worst way.
I do. Okay, so I'm Alanna Jonson. I'm an agriculture program specialist with the Ministry of Agriculture in Prince Albert, and I'm just going to touch on a few of the programs that we have available to producers and industry groups. So the Canadian Agriculture Partnership. So some of the producer programs in the past have been through Growing Forward 1 and Growing Forward 2, and this is now being replaced with the Canadian Agriculture Partnership, better known as CAP. So this is a $388 million investment, a 60-40 cost share between the federal and provincial governments to help invest in Saskatchewan producers over a 5-year period to innovate, grow, and prosper, giving the industry the resources to help them improve public trust by setting a high standard. So there's some postcards sitting on the tables. This is the suite of programs we have. They fall under 6 categories, and those categories are actually how they're broken down on the website as well. So there are programs for science, research and innovation, environment, sustainability and climate change, risk management, value added and agri-food processing, public trust, and markets and trade. So there's 20 different programs. I'm not going to touch on all of those today. I'm just going to touch on a few of the key ones for producers. So we also partnered with the watershed groups, and these watershed technicians help provide producer level support for our environmental programs. So they help with the pre-approvals, applications, and other inquiries you may have. So they actually can come out to your farm and help you out if you have any questions or concerns. Basic producer eligibility for the majority of our programs is producers must be over the age of 18, make a minimum of $50,000 gross farm income, have a PID, and then for any of our equipment programs, the equipment has to be purchased new from a reputable source, a registered dealer. So to start with, I'll just touch on the Farm and Ranch Water Infrastructure Program first. This one's been operating for over 10 years now as it was part of the Growing Forward programs. And this program has 50% funding availability to develop secure and sustainable water sources to help prevent and mitigate the impacts of drought. So there's 3 different parts under the rebate side of this, and these include dugout projects. I'm not going to go into too much detail on these, just know that there is funding available for most producers. And this does not include cleanouts and landscaping. Those components are ineligible, but it does include new dugouts and dugout expansions. Pipeline projects are also eligible. There's activities that can be included, including engineering and construction for deep buried or shallow buried pipelines. They cannot be above ground pipelines, they do have to be buried though. Well projects are also eligible rebates, and they include test holes, engineering, consulting costs, and well drilling and construction. They must be at least 30 meters away from livestock confinement facilities. And these are just some of the components that might be eligible along with any of those projects. In addition to eligible components such as water bowls and solar systems, there's also a whole list on the website of ineligible components. I'm not going to try to get you to read that or run through it. It's just so you know that it's important to go online and take a look at the different permits or requirements for yourself before you start a project. There's also pre-approval streams under the Farm and Ranch Water Infrastructure Program, and this includes 90% funding to a maximum of $10,000 for well decommissioning. We just want to make sure that it's done right, so that's part of the reason that this one is a pre-approval. There's also special projects, so this can include community water developments. Another program that has been offered in the past is the Farm Stewardship Program. This program is one of our more popular programs, and the difference between what's eligible now and what was before is just some of the beneficial management practices we offer have changed. So under the program, there's a list of 10 BMPs that are eligible. They are all pre-approvals except for the variable rate mapping BMP, and I will touch on briefly about each of them, but they all have their own eligibility criteria that you have to meet. So the Tame Forage BMP is one of the more popular ones, and it has 50% funding to a maximum of $10,000. It does have a pre-approval process, so it has to be under annual cropland for 2 years, meet the soil qualification criteria, and then the blend has to be approved by a ministry agri-environmental specialist. This is just to ensure that you're getting the right outcomes that you want. The permanent native forage BMP is similar, but it does not have the same soil qualifications. It's 90% funding to a maximum of $10,000, and the blend is still pre-approved, but it's not based on the soil qualifications. So another BMP under the program is a targeted grazing BMP. This is not for everybody, but if you have a large-scale weed infestation, we have a list of weeds that are available for funding for small ruminant grazing or biological insect control. So this is where a CAM application is not necessarily a feasible option, and you do need a weed management plan as part of this program. We also have our grazing management BMPs. There's 2 different ones. There's the native rangeland grazing management BMP and the riparian grazing management BMP. They're to help with funding for fences, and you need a grazing plan to go with these ones. So this is where the watershed technicians can come in and help you on farm creating those management plans. So livestock stewardship BMPs, there's a list of different projects that are available under this BMP, and it's to improve water quality by mitigating environmental effects of livestock facilities. It's to a maximum of $100,000 for intensive livestock operations. We also have, this is the variable rate mapping BMP, and this one is the rebate. So it's only for 30% up to a maximum of $2,000. You do require an environmental farm plan for this one. If you've done an environmental farm plan in the past, that likely will still work. Or you can use another equivalent such as VDP plus, the 4R nutrient management, or otherwise. We also have 2 BMPs that we have partnered with the Water Security Agency on, and this one is for existing private drainage works, for single producer existing private drainage works, and then we also have the multi-producer drainage management BMP. So these can both help with reducing the impacts of existing drainage works. And then finally, this one is the last BMP that I'll quickly touch on. And this one is for non-typical environmental solutions. So one example of that is bio beds for sprayer cleanouts. That's what the picture is below. So the Agriculture Skills and Knowledge Program is the next one that I'll briefly touch on. And it is for farm business management courses. And there's a 14-page list of courses available online. And it has the program name, contact, and cost available on there. And then some examples of courses include grazing systems, traceability and records management, holistic management, and then the ag expert courses as well. The one thing to note is that after you take a course, all rebates must be submitted within 6 months of completing the course, and it's a maximum of $2,500 per year per person. And if you are not if you would like to apply on behalf of one of your employees or family members, a producer can also do that. So for the assurance system producer rebate, this is the one that the biosecurity training here today was for. So this program is intended to encourage participation in biosecurity and animal welfare through funding for new handling equipment. It is accessible for apiculture, beef, dairy, sheep, goat, bison, cervid, swine, and poultry producers, and it's a maximum of 50% funding to $15,000 for the rebate. And each different sector or different animal there will have different requirements as far as the rebate. So for the cervid sector, the biosecurity training is what you're taking here today, and that's when you need a certificate for it. Then you'll need to complete the biosecurity equipment recommendation report. It is not live on the website yet. This program will be live on the website hopefully in the next 1 or 2 weeks here. It will have all the information outlined there. It is found under the risk management portion of those postcards, but it's not live on the website yet. So some possible improvements that could be that are potentially available to you as producers are segregation pens, dead stock site fencing, fencing to prevent access to standing feed and water, cleaning and disinfecting stations, load in and out improvements, so things like rubber mats, and then manure management fencing. So how do you apply for the program? There's 4 steps to applying. The first step would be complete your training. Your second step is to complete the assessment per species per barn. And then your third step is to go, after you have those 2 steps done, then you can go in and purchase your approved equipment as identified on the biosecurity equipment recommendation report. And then you can submit these with a copy of your paid invoices, veterinary assessment, and all paid invoices, they have to be paid, everything has to be on farm when you send those into programs branch. Where to send them will all be identified on the rebate application form, which you can find on the website once the program is live on our website. So some other programs we have available include the Ag Awareness Initiative Program and the Next Gen Agriculture Mentorship Program. These are to tell the story of Saskatchewan agriculture. This falls in the same category as where the Agriculture Student Scholarship is. And then we have the Farm Safety Program to help with farm safety training, more on an industry level than directly a producer level. And then we have the Industry Organization Development Program. And this one's to build capacity in organizational development, strategic planning, emergency preparedness for Saskatchewan producers, commodity associations, commissions, and boards. So examples of this are board of governance, training, succession planning, crisis planning, things like that. So here's the website that I keep talking about. This is what it looks like when it's online. It can be a little confusing because you have to click on a few links to get to where you're going, but those postcards break it down as far as which category you find everything under. And it's just saskatchewan.ca/cap. And our programs are subject to change, so this is the most up-to-date and accurate information is what you'll find on the website. You can also contact an agriculture program specialist such as myself. We're a new position as of last year that are found throughout the province. You can call the Ag Knowledge Center to find us, or we're in throughout the regional offices. There's one in Prince Albert, North Battleford, Tisdale, Swift Current, Moose Jaw, Yorkton, and Weyburn. So the Ag Knowledge Center is an excellent first point of contact, and they can connect you with your watershed technician. They can also connect you with a ministry specialist, and they can help you find or sign up for your premise identification number, PID. So any questions?
This is just a comment. In trying to set all this up ahead of time, I had a hell of a time finding this online. Especially, I would like to say pick better names for the programs in the future, whoever does that, because the assurance program, I mean, how could I ever search that and have it come up? I mean, we're doing biosecurity training, so call it biosecurity rebate program or something along that line so that people can actually find it without, I mean, I think I found it after someone emailed me a link, so.
That's why they hired me, so that I can tell you where to find it. It can be tricky to find, and that's honestly why we exist, is to help producers walk through those things. One of the things to note is on that assurance system producer rebate, I think that's the full name of the program, which is found under the risk management category. It is, because there are so many different sectors that it's available to, you do have to click on a couple sublinks to actually find your rebate form and equipment list. They're under eligibility and then under the apply section of the webpage. But by calling me, I can help walk you through that. Okay, well, thank you for listening to me, and I don't want to hold everybody from lunch, so.